The Sunday school lesson for January 21st, 2024 is Overcoming Fear. 2nd Chronicles chapter 20, verses 13 through 20. Welcome, viewers and subscribers, to my channel, The Backstory and More. I am Audrey. If you are interested in knowing what happens before each Sunday school lesson, you are at the right place. If you are new here, please know that I will share the backstory, read the lesson text, and offer a brief lesson summary. Let's begin. The backstory is told from 2nd Chronicles 20, verses 1 through 12. In 2nd Chronicles chapter 19, Jehoshaphat had named those whom he had designated to administer justice in both religious and secular matters. He reminded them to act with courage at all times as they stood for what was right. After this, the Moabites and Ammonites, with some of the Meunites, came to wage war against Jehoshaphat. Some people came and told Jehoshaphat, "A vast army is coming against you from Edom, from the other side of the Dead Sea. It is already in Hazezon Tamar, that is, in Gedi." Notice the map. Alarmed, Jehoshaphat resolved to inquire of the Lord, and he proclaimed a fast for all Judah. The people of Judah came together to seek help from the Lord. Indeed, they came from every town in Judah to seek him. Then Jehoshaphat stood up in the assembly of Judah and Jerusalem at the temple of the Lord in the front of the new courtyard and prayed. He said, "Lord, the God of our ancestors, are you not the God who is in heaven? You rule over all the kingdoms of the nations. Power and might are in your hand, and no one can withstand you. Our God, did you not drive out the inhabitants of this land before your people Israel and give it forever to the descendants of Abraham your friend? They have lived in it and have built in it a sanctuary for your name, saying, 'If calamity comes upon us, whether the sword of judgment or plague or famine, we will stand in your presence before this temple that bears your name and will cry out to you in our distress, and you will hear us and save us.' But now here are men from Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, whose territory you would not allow Israel to invade when they came from Egypt. So they turned away from them and did not destroy them. See how they are repaying us by coming to drive us out of the possession you gave us as an inheritance. Our God, will you not judge them? For we have no power to face this vast army that is attacking us. We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you." Verses 13 through 14. All the men of Judah, with their wives and children and little ones, stood there before the Lord. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Jehaziel, son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jael, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite and descendant of Asaph, as he stood in the assembly. Verse 15. He said, "Listen, King Jehoshaphat, and all who live in Judah and Jerusalem. This is what the Lord says to you. Do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army. For the battle is not yours, but God's. Verse 16. Tomorrow march down against them. They will be climbing up by the pass of Ziv, and you will find them at the end of the gorge in the desert of Jeruel. Verses 17 through 18. You will not have to fight this battle. Take up your positions, stand firm, and see the deliverance the Lord will give you, Judah and Jerusalem. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Go out to face them tomorrow, and the Lord will be with you. Jehoshaphat bowed down with his face to the ground, and all the people of Judah and Jerusalem fell down in worship before the Lord. Verses 19 and 20. Then some Levites from the Kohathites and Korahites stood up and praised the Lord, the God of Israel, with a very loud voice. Early in the morning, they left for the desert of Tekoa. As they set out, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Listen to me, Judah and people of Jerusalem. Have faith in the Lord your God, and you will be upheld. Have faith in his prophets, and you will be successful. A brief summary. King Jehoshaphat had offered a passionate plea to the Lord for help, admitting that neither the king nor his people had any strategy or resources to confront the oncoming threat. Perhaps as his prayer progressed, his voice grew louder, possibly even trembling, as he reached the end and declared his utter dependence upon God. And I quote, We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you. End of quote. 2 Chronicles chapter 20, verse 12. Then came Jehaziel's spirit-empowered words. The people's outlook changed their outlook. Everyone experiences fear in life. Fear, in and of itself, is not harmful unless it is unfounded or becomes physically and spiritually immobilizing. The essential question is how Christians can overcome fear and continue to be living testimonies to others. The solution in the lesson highlights Jehoshaphat's example of turning to God in prayer and trusting obedience. Walking by faith, even in the face of fear, requires having a vital relationship with God. Overcoming fear begins with acknowledging its reality in our lives. After making this acknowledgement, we must remember whose we are and that God has a predetermined plan and purpose for our lives. Therefore, we can turn to Him in faith, trusting Him to deliver us from fear's adverse effects. Then we can practice our faith in Him in practical ways to help others overcome their fears. We don't have to look for to discover someone experiencing fear and anxiety. Life is filled with multiple challenges and situations that are beyond human control. Our overcoming the immobilizing effects of fear involves acknowledging our inability to deliver ourselves, declaring our trust in God, and practicing active obedience to His Word. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Join me soon for the next backstory and more. Stay safe and may God bless.